Hi, I'm Josh Ellsworth, General Manager of Stahl's CAD-CUT Direct, manufacturer of heat transfer films. We've been supplying customers with these films for years for decorating team uniforms, for athletic lettering and numbering, mostly in team sports, the traditional sports like football, baseball, basketball, volleyball, soccer. But how about extreme sports? In particular, how about motocross jerseys? Is this something that you've ever thought about decorating? Maybe you're going to make a whole business of it yourself. Well, we can help you with that. Motocross jerseys pose unique challenges. Today, we're going to decorate 4 different jerseys, all with different heat transfer films. The first thing you need to know about a motocross jersey is that typically they're a fully sublimated fabric. This means they're adorned with all types of designs and full colors, really bright popping colors. And if you turn the fabric or the garment inside out, you'll see it's a white base material. When manufactured, these panels are actually fully sublimated, where an ink actually dyes the polyester white material, and then the garment's sewn together to manufacture it. When the sublimation inks dye the fabric, they're heated up, they turn to a gas, and then they dye. The polyester opens up and it dyes the fabric. So there's some challenges when you're dealing with sublimated fabrics. You don't want to reactivate those dyes. And when you're heat pressing names and numbers onto the jerseys, you do activate the dyes. So likewise, you need something that's going to block that. And that's where 2 of our top selling materials come into play. Our CAD-CUT thermofilm material is great for this application. We'll apply some of that today. And also our CAD-CUT Fashion Film Electric, which gives you some really eye-popping results and still blocks the dye migration. Let's start by going over to the vinyl cutter and completing the last cut of our job for these 4 jerseys. You can use any vinyl cutter material to cut our heat applied films. In this case, we're utilizing the Roland GX24, which we also sell. So we can set you up with the vinyl cutter and the heat press equipment that we use. We manufacture heat presses, which will complete all of our applications today. Once the cutter has completed the cut, I'll advance the material out and trim off the design. Now, I've pre-cut a bunch of graphics. We'll go over to the table and we'll weed these to prepare them for application. So to start weeding, you just use the weeding tool, which we also sell, and begin to peel up the corner of the material. You'll remove all of the excess material away, exposing just the design that we've cut. This is our Fashion Film Electric Prism material, which has a really cool diamond plate effect for decorating our jersey. Now you can't just use any heat applied film on a motocross jersey. You want to make sure it's a durable material as well. And with our heat transfer films in particular, the 2 that we're using today, they're extremely durable. They'll outlast that garment. And I'll take my weeding tool and pick out the center pieces. Multicolor graphics are very popular for lettering and numbering for this sport. So I've already pre-cut a background design, and this is out of our electric orange material. So in order to achieve multiple colors, you just separate the artwork and conduct multiple steps in cutting and weeding. So it would make sense to have some different colors and different combination items on hand, especially if you're decorating at a race. That design is ready to heat apply. We'll prepare the rest. Now over at the Hotronix Fusion heat presses. Split my garment and load it onto the bottom plat. Make sure I have a nice even pressing area. It's very important that you use a cover sheet in this process. Completely cover the jersey so that the inks or the dyes that are releasing aren't going to get on your heater and transfer over to the next garment. The first thing I'm going to do is start with a preheat step for a couple seconds to remove the moisture and wrinkles. Should give me a nice flat pressing area. You can even see on the cover sheet where the dyes started to release. And then I'm going to position my background design down first. Once again, I'm working with the Fashion Film Electric Orange. Position my design into place. Make sure it's covered. I'm going to press the background layer for just a few seconds to get it to hold into place. Now, I'll simply remove my backing. Make sure my shirt's still on the press, nice. This gets discarded. And I'll take my foreground layer, which you saw me cut, and position it right down over top. Making sure that everything's nice and even. It's a clear see-through backing, so it should be pretty easy to line up. So again, always remember to cover it. And I'll complete the second application. In this case, the final application gets 10 to 15 seconds. Remove the backing, and it's done. I'm going to press this one additional time so I can pick up the texture of the garment a little more with the foreground layer. Just give it a few additional seconds. And we're complete. Let's move on to the next jersey. Next, we'll go with our neon pink jersey here. Once again, I'm going to split it and load it onto the heat press. Backwards, this is a store-bought jersey, so I'm going to make sure all the tags and everything are hanging over the edge. Customers may bring these jerseys in, you may find a good source to buy them from. Once again, I need to start with a thermofilm base. I'm going to use it in the color black. That's going to prevent the dyes from coming up through my next foreground layer that I'll place. It helps if you can dispose of the paper after every time. You can use plain paper instead of craft paper. It's a little bit less expensive. So I'm going to go ahead and grab 2 new sheets to place down over this because I don't want to risk this black ink going into the pink of the jersey. So got my fresh craft paper. We do sell the craft paper at Stahl's as well in packs of 25. But I'm going to press my base layer down just for a few seconds. Remove the backing. Now I'll take my Premium Plus in the neon pink color and position it over top. For any reason you're having trouble aligning it with the pre-spaced name and number, you can trim them apart. With the frosted carrier, sometimes it's difficult to see things. So now I'll position my number. And I'll position my name separately. Cover everything. And heat apply. Premium Plus takes 8 seconds. Every heat transfer film comes with recommended time, temperature, and pressure for applying. Going to remove my cover sheets. I need to wait till Premium Plus cools down a little bit to peel it, so I'm going to lay this garment to the side and I'll peel it later. Okay, the next jersey that I'll do is this one, and this is a combination of thermofilm as a background and the fashion film electric as the foreground. Position. Preheat. I'm going to position my thermofilm background number down first. Press it for a couple seconds. Remove the backing, and then line up my fashion film electric. Pressing them both together this time for the full 10 to 15 seconds that the electric requires to apply. The thermofilm is receiving its full heat on the second application, which is the reason I only need to tack it down as the first step. And this one is completed. And for our last example, we'll load a larger jersey. Once again, these are polyester fabrics, so who knows what type of moisture these are holding, which is why it's always important to preheat your garment. You can almost hear the moisture releasing out of the garment. Once again, use the cover sheet. All this ink would be up on your heater. So now just a standard 2-color thermofilm design with a background of black. And our foreground of red. You can see how we've gotten creative and cut a star pattern out of the number just to make it something different. And press the foreground for the full recommended 8 seconds. And another completed jersey. Now our Premium Plus material in the neon pink should be cooled down by now. So before delivering it to the customer and showing you a final look, we'll remove the backing from the material. Remember, this is the one we've cut apart, so we'll have to remove 2 different pieces here. All of these are completed garments. So for this video, we thought it was important to come back and look at the garments we created, not right after we created them, but 24 hours later. When you're dealing with sublimated fabrics, the dyes tend to migrate over time. So as they sit, they can be migrating. And the worst scenario is you deliver the jersey to your customer and it starts migrating when they get it home, and then they want to track you down to return it. So let's look at the garments that we created yesterday. With the Fashion Film electric material, it completely blocks dye migration. So the electric orange and the electric prism looks beautiful, just as when we made it yesterday. The 2-color thermofilm design with a black thermofilm background and the red thermofilm foreground also looks as good as when we made it yesterday. That's because we have so much thickness here that the dyes aren't migrating through the foreground layer of the thermofilm. If we put the red directly to the jersey without the black background, we'd probably have some issues. And I'm going to show you that on this jersey with white. We set this one up intentionally with the white thermofilm background and the electric pink foreground. Notice how the dyes are starting to migrate through the white thermofilm. This is because we applied the white layer directly to the jersey without extra thickness. If you want to use white thermofilm in your design, it doesn't 100% block migration, but it does do a good job of stopping it. So if you had black as a background or another darker shade that's not going to show the dyes as a background and used white as the foreground, you'd be just fine. But you want to make sure you're a little bit cautious when using lighter colors directly on the jersey. And lastly, to illustrate the point about using black as the background and a lighter shade as the foreground, here we have our black thermofilm with our neon pink Premium Plus. The neon pink won't block migration, but the black is giving enough thickness that the dyes aren't coming through the foreground, and they won't. The last thing I want to do is break down the cost to make this jersey ID. These sell for $25 to $50 for you to letter a motocross jersey if the customer brings it in. That's just the lettering. Now for you to create this, we're using about a linear foot of each material. Thermofilm and electric cost about $3 per linear foot. So for a 2-color design, it's costing you about $6 to make, plus the labor to cut it, weed it, and heat apply it. So there's plenty of profit to be made. If you'd like to purchase some Fashion Film electric material today, Thermofilm, Premium Plus, or even if you want to look at a heat press and a vinyl cutter setup to start printing motocross jerseys, just visit our website, stalls.com.